Everybody, Tony here. Just recently moved my daughter into college over the past weekend, so I had to kind of empty out my truck of some of the things that I typically keep in. And I figured as I put it back, I'm going to kind of share with you the things that I keep in there, just not only for emergency, but so that way I can kind of go camping on the fly, or basically if something does come up that I am a little better prepared for it. So kind of behind me, you'll see some of the things I'll talk about, and just kind of let me share with you what I keep in my truck, which is a 2015 Chevy Silverado LTZ. So check it out. Okay, the things that I keep in the back of my truck, basically in the truck bed here, I have before me here, which are some simple things. And again, they're not valuable. So, I mean, yes, if they were to get stolen, I would be bummed. But then again, too, is I don't keep anything of great value in my truck, just, you know, because again, I don't have to worry about that. The one thing I guess I'll kind of start from, you know, over here, I always keep an extra set of jumper cables just in case. I've had to use them a few times, having a teenage daughter. Just sometimes for friends in case they would need something, or anybody on the road like to have a set of these old school nearby. I have my Cabela's. It's a 4-man, the West Wind 4. You've seen it perhaps in some of my other videos. It's great. It's a 4-man tent dome with a little vestibule. I say kind of 2 people comfortably, 3 max, 4 questionable at best. This is my Winterial. This is a 1-man tent. I've yet to use it. So I'm planning a trip to Wayne National Forest that I'm hoping to kind of get out there and use that soon. Always have a gas can for myself or others. Pretty self-explanatory. The backpack, I always have like an extra hat, pair of socks, some shoes, shorts, you know, just some simple things in case I would need it. Like a lot of times, you know, say something comes up at work and you don't want to get dirty in your work clothes. I've got it, but also too, is if something were to come up and I'd need some clothes, there it is. I use a cargo bar to kind of hold all this stuff to the back of my truck, and let me show you what's in here. That I just keep a few extra items in this case, so that way it's easier for, you know, containment, as well as I can kind of get it in and out of the truck. Okay, as you see here, I got the contents of what I keep in this box over here in the back of my truck. I got this last year for Christmas, and it's really kind of been a help. It's a, you know, jump starter for a battery. I can charge up USB. It's also got, as you can see over here, something that I can use to fill the tires. So I like the fact that if I didn't have another car around to use my jumper cables, I could use this, or as well as sometimes if you do need to help somebody and they're not in a position where you can pull your vehicle in front, this really helps out. You only need to charge it about every 6 months. It's about $99. Walmart, the Stanley. This is just a little kit full of basic tools. I don't want to keep a big toolbox in the back of the car, but it's got your hammer, you know, things you can use, a screwdriver, you know, some nails and whatnot. Just basically a kit if you need to yank out and do something real simple on the fly. This is my camper chair. I've yet to use this. I just got this here recently. I like how it folds down. But you can see kind of about the size of my hand. It fit really well on the bottom of my backpack, so pardon the airplane there. I'm in an airplane zone. But again, I can't wait to use this here, but I got a camper chair, and I just keep that also too in case I come up in a sporting event or camping or something, you know, picnic, and I want to get that out. Cheap machete, very cheap. I've got a good one inside. This one I just had, but sometimes too, you know, just kind of good to have on the fly. I've got myself a camo tarp. Doesn't really matter as far as the color. I would use that sometimes as a footprint for one of my tents, but again, you never know when you'll need it. I've got one of these lanterns here that I love. You can kind of just open them up, and as you can see, just kind of a nice little camp lantern in case I would need to change a tire, do something of that nature. Carabiner if I need to hang it. Self-explanatory. This here is a hammock. It's actually got a bug net attached to it. It's a 1-person. It's not as big as my Eno double nest, but just sometimes too, is it, you know, it's nice to have around, and in case I need to string it up. Patch kit for a tent. This guy over here is one of those kind of inflatable, looks kind of like a hot dog bun, but we could use it on water or something to just kind of spontaneously lay down with. Keep it for the kids, but I have that. This is a little emergency snow shovel. One time many years back, as I got kind of stuck on the side of the road and had no way to dig out other than my hands, and that was not fun. So got that. I think I was at Walmart too. So I think it's called Sub-Zero. Folds in half, simple to use in case you need to dig out underneath your car. Got a tow strap. I think it's registered at 17,000 pounds. I've used it to yank bushes, but yeah, it'll pull a car out of a ditch. Right now the ball hitch my buddy's got, using it for his trailer, and old school mag light. These are definitely old school. The 4D battery is very heavy, but in case you'd need yourself a club, this guy'd work. So that's kind of what I keep in the back here. And let me get it in the back of the truck. Aside from one of the things that I did to kind of combat the lack of daily storage space, again, we can haul a lot in the back of the truck bed, but in the back of the crew cab here of the Silverado, underneath the seats is basically a place where you could kind of, you know, stash some stuff down under here. But I picked up something called the Husky under seat liner, which was about $165 off of Amazon. And I'm going to show you some of the things I keep in there and kind of how to put this in and just a little more about it. Alright, you can kind of see the space we're dealing with here. So if I have the seat down, you know, again, my hand, it's not a lot of space, but then again, too, is the liner that I'm talking about really does kind of help me carry some stuff under here, and things that I just like to have at hand, you know, kind of on a daily basis. So some things I'll put in, take out, depending on where I'm going, whether or not it's work or camping or what have you, but I try to utilize the best of this space down through here that I can. Okay, to start with, just some simple things that I actually can put underneath the seat back and through here. If you can kind of see, there's, I apologize for the sun. Well, not really, I love the sun. But I have just a simple backpack. You know, it's enough to carry, see if I can get it there, carry a few things if necessary, but sometimes if I would need to leave my truck and kind of, you know, get out of here with a few things. Let me see if I can put that here. I can store this underneath here, if you can kind of see up and under, and that goes completely under the seat. One other thing that I carry is a nice set of bolt cutters. Never know when you'll need bolt cutters. This little guy here, if you can kind of see, is a gear hook. So that way, is if I need to grab something out of the back of the truck bed, to me is like, you're not man enough to hop up in the truck bed. But then again, too, sometimes you never know if you're going to need a little added reach, and since it's a bar, it just kind of hangs out underneath there. It's simple. I also always like to carry a extra wool blanket, just in case of emergencies. I've used it a few times at some of the kids' sporting events in the fall, so it's kind of nice to have, and I'm going to put it right up underneath here, too. So let me see if I can kind of get this up and under, back underneath here. And hopefully, yes, as you can see, that will close. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Now let me go get the Husky liner and show you a little bit more. Okay, this is the bed liner that I was telling you about. Or not the bed liner, actually the under seat liner, called the Husky, which I got off of Amazon for about $164.95. Now if you can kind of see these little grooves here, they do have these kind of, I guess they're kind of a foam insert that kind of fits in there if you want to keep things kind of separated, but I kind of like the whole tray open typically, so that way I can add whatever I wish. The one thing is with this is it only has one kind of a cinch strap that goes around some of the hardware that anchors your seat. So what it does is kind of underneath here, if you can kind of see that the way that this thing's made kind of sits well on the seat folds right down on top of it, and this kind of anchors it, so it holds in there pretty sturdy. I mean, I've had to make some stops, gone over some bumpy stuff, never had a problem with losing it, but if you were to take a 60-mile-an-hour impact, you hit something, you may have a problem with it. And just to show you before I strap it in here, you can kind of see as it is molded to kind of fit according to the model. So it'll sit right up here, and then when I put the strap on, if you can kind of see, is it's rather kind of concealed. And so it is kind of nice that it actually looks like something, not so much of an aftermarket, but just kind of the base of the seat here. So really, it's going nowhere for the most part. So anyway, let me go put this in. So you can see I've got it in, and I only use that one basic cinch strap that kind of goes against, or goes around some of the hardware that holds the seat in, like I said. But it's still got some shift to it. But by the time I put stuff into it, like I said, I've had no problem with it, and I don't think this is meant to, you know, carry too much. But I'll show you what I put in here, and then how I pack it up. And you know, again too, is you can keep, I mean, rifles and whatnot in here if you want to, but I just keep some basic needs. It varies from time to time to what I have in here. Sometimes it may have nothing at all. So anyway, let me show you what I keep in here. Okay, at any given time, all these items that you see in my trunk bed will fit in and firmly underneath the seat of the Husky that I just put in. So I'm just going to kind of briefly go over. This is a set of cinch straps, ratchet straps. They have 4 of them in there with the hooks, so that way they can kind of go in the 4 corners of my truck bed. I use those to carry my kayaks. I've got a set of the mechanics tactical gloves, just because. I've got a little bit of some of the N95 masks. I work with the CERT program locally here, which is the Community Emergency Response Team. So some of these things I'll have at my disposal just in case I'd ever get deployed. But for now, I think they're just kind of a good idea to have, whether or not, you know, just something comes up or you engage upon a disaster of kind of poisonous sorts. Some safety glasses. These are my son's work gloves that we use for camping. Mine, these are the Cobalt, I believe. I'm going to call them the Cobalt. So actually a great set of gloves. I like how they're flexible, and just really a good set of gloves. This is my med kit. Maybe I can go into it a little bit later, what all's in it. Basic necessities, everything from sutures. Also got a cat tourniquet, something to cut fabric if necessary. So I got those kind of 2 things sitting out. But always have that, and also too is with a molly strip, so that way I can hook it onto any backpack that I've got, a belt or otherwise. Always keep a little duct tape. Always keep a fire extinguisher. This is my kind of version of a go bag, get home bag, what have you, that I'll throw in the truck from time to time. So if ever I needed to kind of leave my truck and get home, maybe if kind of in a shady area or something for disaster too, this guy I can throw in the back of the truck. But I'll just show you how it kind of fits in there, because I may have it in there from time to time. This is a simple rain gear that I have a little extra. I keep extra of those just in case I have more than one person from my family, or more than myself rather. Knee pads in case I'd have to change a tire, but also too for the CERT thing. It's kind of good to have, and these are the gloves they gave me too. I have gloves as a redundancy. Fix-a-flat. Never had to use it yet. Yay. Some extra tent pegs, hand and foot warmers. Got some towels here in case, you know, for checking oil, just wiping off basic stuff. I've got my security bolt for the ball hitch. Extra tarp with some extra bungees. Got some extra bungee straps there. This is for inflating, so I've got that. It plugs into my dashboard, so if I need to inflate an air mattress, what have you. Extra small blanket in here. Poncho size for my son. My frog togs. This is the top and the bottom. A little more industrial size, so they're really good. Another lantern. I've also got some paracord. I've got a spool tool that I think is on my backpack that I usually keep in here. I love the spool tool. It's got a place for the lighter. It cuts, and it's also got a carabiner to hook. Always keep a little extra of this tape, so that way I can put it around the handles of certain things. This is my survival tool. It's got the hatchet, the hammer, the pry bar, a little nail remover. Good to have. Always keep a couple bottles of water. CB radio. I've got a ham radio that I always keep in here. A little bit off. This is just something my daughter made when she was like 3 years old when I used to travel. Said it was for good luck. It goes with me everywhere. Let's see, what if I forgot? My son's knife, it's got a little ferro rod on it. And I got some more cinch straps and also a survival blanket. So that's pretty much the array that would fit in one fell swoop. I just wanted to kind of let you see that you have a variety of things that can go in there. But all this will fit in, and let's see if I can kind of get it in there now just to kind of show you how much you could actually use. But maybe this will give you an idea of some things you can add, subtract, and I'll go into more detail in a different video of what I keep in here, because this in and of itself is kind of a beast as far as just different things, and I'd like to share that with you too. Okay, I got everything underneath the seat here. Raise everything up, and so you can kind of see how everything's kind of snug in here. I had the little strap that I put kind of in the way. It's supposed to go around something else here. That's why I had trouble shutting the door. In through the back here, this has a little bit of give, so that way if something does stick up a little bit. But just to kind of show you too, is it stays pretty well concealed, so it's kind of hard to see if you got anything underneath there. But it's kind of a nice little handy thing to have, and you know, that way you can have a little extra gear in the back of your truck. Okay, everybody, I hope I helped with a few pointers on how to create some extra storage in your truck that is a little bit more concealed. I've got a ton over the back of mine, so the things I carry in the bed are a little bit more concealed. But again, as I have some things, like I said, as I'd be bummed if they were taken. I take things out of my truck frequently for just a variety of projects too, so I don't like to leave things in there that I would, you know, kind of be heartsick if they were stolen, as well as underneath the truck seat too. That was just kind of to show you if I kind of maxed it out. And sometimes too, if I were to take a long trip and I wanted to make sure that I was covered, that's what I would do. But again, if you've got any ideas on what you do for your pickup truck or your automobile for preparation, travel, or camping, please comment below.